Heavenly Source, infinite intelligence, the presence that breathes life into every living thing, we thank you for this sacred moment. We surrender our plans, our impatience, and our doubts to your divine order. Let this message be guided by love, aligned with truth, and received by every heart ready to awaken. Amen. So many of us live our lives rushing toward what's next, chasing goals, forcing outcomes, or worrying about what's not yet here. We ask, why is this taking so long? Or why hasn't this happened for me yet? But the truth is, life unfolds with divine precision. The same intelligence that keeps the planets in perfect orbit and the ocean tides in rhythm is orchestrating your journey. Dr. Dyer often reminded us, there is an intelligence that beats your heart, that opens the petals of a flower. Trust it. It knows what it's doing. When you learn to trust that timing, when you stop resisting and start aligning, life begins to flow. So let's explore 4 key principles that help us remember. Divine timing never fails. There's a rhythm to everything in life, a sacred pulse that flows through the universe, a divine intelligence that operates far beyond the reach of your logical mind. When you pause long enough to sense it, you begin to realize that nothing in your life has ever truly been off schedule. Every delay, every detour, every so-called missed opportunity has been part of a perfectly choreographed dance designed by something far wiser than you can imagine. But the human tendency, and I include myself in this, is to want to know. We want certainty. We want to see the path illuminated from beginning to end before we take the first step. We ask, when will it happen? When will my dream come true? When will love arrive? When will healing come? And the universe, in its loving patience, simply whispers, trust me, it's not time yet. This is one of the hardest lessons we can learn. To surrender our attachment to when something should happen. The ego loves timetables. It thrives on the illusion of control. It tells us that if we plan well enough, if we push hard enough, if we stay busy enough, we can make things happen on our schedule. But the soul doesn't work on the clock. The soul understands something deeper, that divine timing is never late, and it's never early. It's always right on time. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. You can water it, nourish it, tend to it lovingly, but you cannot force it to sprout. You can't shout at it to grow faster or tug on the stem to pull it upward. You must trust that beneath the soil, unseen and silent, life is unfolding perfectly. The same is true of your dreams. The roots of your desires are growing underground long before you see any sign of them above the surface. The universe is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet perceive. When you demand to know when something will happen, you're telling life that you don't trust its wisdom. You're saying, my plan is better than the divine plan. And yet if you look back on your own journey, how many times have you been grateful that something didn't happen when you wanted it to? Maybe a relationship didn't work out because you were meant to grow first. Maybe a job didn't come through because something greater was waiting. Maybe a door closed because you were not yet ready to walk through it. The delays are not punishments, they are preparations. Life doesn't say no to your desires, it says, not yet. Let me align everything for your highest good. That alignment might involve another person finding their own path, circumstances shifting in your favor, or your own energy evolving to match what you've asked for. Dr. Dyer used to say, infinite patience produces immediate results. And at first that might sound paradoxical, but it's a profound truth. The moment you surrender the need to control timing, the very moment you stop grasping, pleading, and worrying, you enter into a vibration of peace. That peace is alignment with the divine. And in that vibration, you become a magnet for the very thing you've been seeking. It's not that you stop caring about your desires, it's that you stop chasing them. There's a beautiful law of the universe that says, whatever you chase runs away, but whatever you allow flows towards you. When you let go of the when, you open the space for miracles to occur. You begin to notice synchronicities, the right book appearing at the right time, the right person crossing your path by chance, the subtle whisper of intuition guiding you toward your next step. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations that divine timing is at work. The ego lives in impatience. It wants instant gratification, visible proof, and measurable results. But the soul knows that impatience is simply another form of mistrust. The moment you demand an answer, you're telling the universe that you don't believe it's handling things well enough. And so you suffer, not because life is cruel, but because resistance always creates pain. Surrender is not about giving up, it's about giving into the flow of a greater wisdom that is already guiding your life. It's about saying, I may not understand the timing, but I trust the purpose. I know that whatever is for me cannot miss me, and whatever misses me was never meant for me. That kind of trust changes everything. It replaces anxiety with peace, frustration with faith, and confusion with clarity. Sometimes, divine timing is waiting for you to let go of something. A belief, a fear, a need for approval before it can deliver what you've asked for. You might think you're ready, but the universe sees the parts of you still clinging to the past, still afraid to receive, still doubting your worth. So it waits, lovingly, patiently, until you're vibrationally aligned with the frequency of what you desire. And then, one day, often without effort, it happens. The thing you were waiting for arrives with such ease that you almost laugh at how long you worried about it. You realize it was never about getting the thing, it was about becoming the person who could receive it with grace. The waiting shaped you, refined you, deepened your faith, and taught you how to trust the unseen. There is a divine choreography to your life. Every experience, every person, every delay has its place in the masterpiece of your becoming. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. You may not always see the perfection in the moment, but someday you'll look back and say, that's why it had to happen that way. The caterpillar doesn't curse the cocoon. It doesn't demand, when will I become a butterfly? It simply surrenders to the process, trusting that transformation takes time. You are in your own sacred cocoon, being shaped into something more beautiful, more aligned, more awakened. Don't rush it. Divine timing is never late. Every unanswered prayer, every unfulfilled dream, every delay you've experienced has been a sacred pause, an invitation to deepen your trust. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly on time, in the perfect place, on the perfect path, unfolding in the perfect rhythm of the universe. So breathe, rest, stop asking when, and start trusting why. There is a divine intelligence that knows the right season for every seed in your life. Trust it. Let go of your calendar and align with your Creator. The moment you do, you'll find that everything you've been chasing begins to move effortlessly toward you, because divine timing never fails, and neither will you when you trust it. There is an invisible doorway through which all peace, creativity, and divine guidance flow, and that doorway is the present moment. Every great teacher throughout history has pointed to this truth, but it's one most of us still overlook. We live in a culture obsessed with what's next. We are trained from childhood to think that happiness lies somewhere up ahead, in the next accomplishment, the next relationship, the next goal. We become travelers chasing horizons that keep moving as we approach them. Yet the irony is that the thing we are running toward is never ahead of us. It's here now, quietly waiting for us to stop and notice it. You see, divine timing doesn't operate in the future. The universe isn't waiting for next week or next year to bless you. It operates only in this eternal now. Everything you will ever need, everything you will ever experience, every lesson, every miracle, every opportunity, all of it happens right here in this sacred instant. The present moment is where God lives. It's the meeting point between your human experience and divine intelligence. But the mind, how restless it is. It is always leaving the present moment, wandering into regrets about yesterday or anxieties about tomorrow. It says, if only things had gone differently, or what if they don't work out? And with every thought that leaves the now, you disconnect from the power that creates worlds. When you live in the past or the future, you are trying to manage what's already gone or what doesn't yet exist. The present, however, is real, it is alive. It's the only place where you can connect with your source. Think of your life as a radio station. The divine is always broadcasting on the frequency of the present moment. The signal is strong, the message is clear, but most of us are tuned to static, our attention scattered between what we wish we had done and what we hope will happen next. We are never really here, listening. Yet the moment you become still, the moment you bring your awareness fully into now, you begin to receive divine guidance effortlessly. It's not that God has stopped speaking, it's that we've been too distracted to hear. Presence is not just about sitting quietly, it's about surrendering your mental chatter long enough to feel the aliveness of this instant. Take a breath right now and notice it. That breath is the bridge between your body and your spirit. When you inhale consciously, you're inhaling divine energy. When you exhale, you're releasing resistance. Every breath is a prayer reminding you that you are sustained by something larger than yourself. When you are present, life slows down. The rush dissolves. You begin to see beauty in the ordinary. Sunlight through the window, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle silence between sounds. You realize that peace was never lost. You had simply forgotten to look for it where it lives. Inside you, Dr. Dyer used to say, when you live in the present moment, you live in the presence of God. And that's not a metaphor, it's the literal truth. The presence of God is always here, but only an undistracted mind can feel it. In the now, there is no fear. Fear is always a projection into the future, a story about something that hasn't happened yet. In the now, there is no guilt. Guilt belongs to the past, to the things you think you should have done differently, but in this present moment you are free. You are whole. You are not your mistakes and you are not your worries. You are awareness itself, the quiet observer behind every thought, every feeling, every experience. The power of presence is that it dissolves illusion. It reveals that all of life is happening perfectly without your interference. The mind says, I must make this happen, but presence whispers, everything is already unfolding. When you are present, you realize that divine timing is not something to wait for. It's something you step into by aligning with the now. There's a beautiful paradox here. The more present you become, the less you need to chase outcomes. And the less you chase, the more life seems to flow in your favor. You begin to experience synchronicities. You think of someone and they call, you need an answer, and it appears in a book or a random conversation. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, not because you forced it, but because you were it. You were aligned with the energy of the present where divine timing lives. When you are truly here, even simple moments feel holy. Washing dishes becomes a meditation. Walking becomes prayer. Listening becomes love. You stop living on autopilot and start participating in the miracle of existence. You begin to notice that the small, quiet moments, the laughter of a friend, the stillness before dawn, the way light moves across the floor, these are not interruptions in your life. They are your life. But presence requires practice. The mind will always try to pull you away, to convince you that your peace lies somewhere else, in a future goal or a different situation. The practice is to keep returning. When you catch yourself drifting into worry, gently return to your breath. When you notice yourself replaying an old hurt, come back to your senses. Literally feel the air on your skin, the ground beneath your feet, the life within you. Each time you return, you strengthen your connection to the divine frequency of now. If you could see how the universe works, you'd realize that every so-called delay, every pause, every quiet space is not empty time, it's sacred alignment. Life is always rearranging itself to bring your highest good into being. But it can only reach you if you're here to receive it. You can't catch the blessings meant for you if your mind is miles away in yesterday or tomorrow. Presence is also the birthplace of gratitude. When you're here, fully awake to this moment, you begin to see how much is already working in your favor. Your heart beats without your command. The sun rises each morning without your effort. The air you breathe, the beauty around you, the people who love you, all of it is grace. Gratitude naturally arises when you're present, and gratitude is the key that unlocks abundance. The miracle of life isn't hidden in grand achievements or future goals. It's hidden in the ordinary. God doesn't only speak in thunder and revelation. Sometimes God speaks in a child's laughter, a bird's song, a moment of stillness. To be present is to listen. It's to open your heart and say, I am here and I trust this moment. And that is the essence of divine timing. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about realizing this moment is perfect. Every second you spend resisting what is you suffer. Every second you surrender to what is you awaken. So today, I invite you to slow down. Stop trying to get somewhere else. Stop thinking life will begin when your plans fall into place. Life is happening now. The divine plan is unfolding now. The miracle is already here. It's in your breath, your awareness, your presence. Dr. Dyer would often remind us that the presence of God is not something to seek, it's something to remember. You are never separate from it, you've just been distracted. When you remember, when you come home to now, you discover that the peace you were chasing has been sitting quietly in your own heart all along. The power of presence is the power of awakening. It's the recognition that this moment, right here, right now, is enough. And when you live from that awareness, divine timing doesn't just guide your life, it flows through you effortlessly, like breath itself. There is a quiet intelligence behind everything that happens in your life, even in the moments when you can't see it. The ego looks at delays as disappointments, as proof that life isn't cooperating. It says, "Why me? Why now? Why is this taking so long?" But the soul sees through a different lens. The soul knows that every delay, every detour, every closed door is serving a sacred purpose, one that may not reveal itself until years later, when you look back and realize that what felt like a setback was actually the turning point that led you toward your destiny. The truth is, nothing ever goes wrong in a universe governed by divine intelligence. Things simply go differently than we expected. When you begin to understand this, patience stops being something you endure and becomes something you trust. Life's pauses are not punishments, they are preparations. The divine does not withhold, it aligns, and alignment sometimes requires waiting, reshaping, or redirection. Imagine standing in front of a magnificent tapestry. Up close, you only see a tangled mess of threads, some dark, some bright, some leading nowhere. But step back, and suddenly you see the pattern, the beauty, the symmetry. Life works the same way. Up close, a delay can feel messy and meaningless. From the higher view of your soul, it's part of the masterpiece being woven just for you. How many times have you prayed for something only to watch it fall apart and later realized it was a blessing in disguise? How many times did you think a door closing meant failure when in truth it was the universe saying that's not your door? We are often so fixated on what we think we want that we miss the quiet perfection in what is being orchestrated. The divine rearranges circumstances not to deny you, but to deliver something far greater than you were asking for, something that aligns not with your impatience but with your purpose. Dr. Dyer often said that everything that shows up in your life has been sent for your evolution. That includes the delays. The pause between wanting and receiving is a sacred space where you grow, where your faith deepens, where your soul matures. Without that space, your manifestations would arrive before you were ready to hold them. Life doesn't give you what you ask for, it gives you what you are prepared to receive. Consider the seed again. It doesn't bloom the day after it's planted. There's an entire unseen process happening underground. The seed cracks open, roots stretch into darkness, soil shifts to make space for new life. If you were to dig it up too soon to check its progress, you would destroy what was meant to grow. The delay isn't punishment, it's protection, it's grace at work in the shadows. We live in a culture that worships speed. Faster is better, sooner is success, waiting is weakness. But the soul doesn't measure time in minutes or months, it measures readiness in energy. Sometimes the thing you desire is ready for you, but you are not yet ready for it. Sometimes you are ready, but the people or circumstances involved are still aligning. The universe holds it all together with flawless precision, and it doesn't miss a beat. When something takes longer than you thought it would, ask not why the delay, but what is this teaching me? Maybe you are being taught patience, the ability to stay peaceful in the unknown. Maybe you are being taught surrender, to trust life's flow rather than forcing your own agenda. Maybe you are being guided to release control, to soften your timeline, to open your heart to possibilities you haven't yet imagined. Every waiting period is a classroom, and the lesson is always faith. The delays also serve another purpose. They help you discern between ego desires and soul desires. The ego wants things because it believes they'll complete it. The soul desires things because they will expand it. The waiting helps burn away what is false, revealing what truly matters. How many things did you once want desperately, only to lose interest when they didn't arrive on your schedule? The waiting purified your intention. It clarified your heart. It taught you to want less from the world and more from your inner connection to Source. When you learn to trust divine timing, frustration turns into curiosity. Instead of saying, "This shouldn't be happening," you begin to ask, "What miracle is this delay preparing me for?" That small shift opens the door to grace. Suddenly, you're no longer a victim of life's timing, you're a participant in its unfolding. You become an observer, watching with reverence as the universe rearranges itself for your growth. There's an old saying, rejection is God's protection. But I like to think of it as redirection. Life will never close a door without opening another, but it often closes the first to make sure you don't settle for less. Sometimes what you think you lost was never truly meant for you, it was only meant to awaken something within you. The pain of delay often cracks open the heart just enough for light to get in. And in that light you begin to see that you were never waiting on life. Life was waiting on you to awaken. Dr. Dyer would remind us that the universe always has three answers: yes, not yet, and I have something better in mind. Most of the time we interpret not yet as no, and we suffer unnecessarily. But if we could trust that divine intelligence only operates in love, we would understand that not yet simply means, hold on, something magnificent is in motion. I've learned that when things are delayed, it's usually because something inside me needs to shift, a belief, a habit, an attachment. The outer delay mirrors the inner transformation. When I grow, life moves. The more I align with peace and patience, the faster things seem to manifest, not because the external world is changing, but because I've stopped resisting its rhythm. Every delay serves as a sacred invitation to return to the present moment and remember that life is happening for you, not to you. It asks you to trust the invisible hands arranging your destiny. You may not see the full picture now, but you will. And when you do, you'll thank the delays. You'll realize they were not detours from your path. They were your path. So the next time you find yourself in a season of waiting, resist the urge to push or panic. Instead, whisper a quiet prayer: thank you for the unseen perfection unfolding right now. Choose to believe that every pause is sacred. Choose to believe that the timing of your life is flawless. Choose to believe that even when it looks like nothing is happening, everything is happening. The delays are your teachers. They build your patience, strengthen your trust, and shape you into the kind of person who can hold the blessings you've asked for with grace and wisdom. When the right moment arrives, and it will, you'll look back and see that nothing was wasted. Every moment was essential, every waiting period was divine, every delay was a doorway to becoming who you were meant to be. There are no accidents in a universe this intelligent. Every pause in your journey is a sacred breath in the rhythm of your becoming. And when you learn to dance with that rhythm, without fear, without hurry, you realize that divine timing isn't something that happens to you, it's something that moves through you, and it never fails. There is an effortless rhythm to life, a natural order that moves through everything: the tides, the seasons, the beating of your heart, the cycles of birth and renewal. When you are aligned with that rhythm, life feels graceful. Things unfold smoothly, people arrive at the right time, opportunities appear without struggle. But when you try to control, to force, to push against the current of what is, you create resistance, and resistance is the birthplace of suffering. The river doesn't struggle to reach the ocean, it simply flows, and you too were designed to flow. We live in a world that glorifies effort. We're told to hustle, to grind, to make things happen. We've been conditioned to believe that success is born from relentless force, that peace is the reward for exhaustion, that if we don't push, we'll be left behind. But there is another way, the way of alignment. Alignment is not laziness, it is harmony with the source that created you. It's recognizing that when you are tuned to the frequency of love, gratitude, and faith, you don't have to chase anything, you attract everything that's meant for you. Dr. Dyer used to say, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's alignment. You can't manifest peace from a place of anxiety, and you can't create abundance from a vibration of lack. The energy you bring into each moment determines what flows toward you. When you are aligned with the energy of ease, grace, and trust, you begin to live in what the Tao calls the flow of the way. Things begin to happen through you rather than by you. Think about how nature operates. The sun never rushes to rise. The flowers don't struggle to bloom. The trees don't force their roots to grow faster. Everything unfolds in divine timing, in harmony with the laws of the universe. Only humans with our restless minds resist that flow. We think we know better. We push for things that are not ready. We cling to what wants to leave, and we exhaust ourselves fighting the current of what is. But the moment you stop forcing, you rediscover the peace that has always been your natural state. Flow is about surrender. Not giving up, but giving in. It's saying to the universe, I trust you to move me where I need to go. It's stepping into the stream of life and allowing it to carry you rather than standing on the shore trying to plan the entire journey. When you are in the flow, you don't have to manipulate outcomes. You don't have to chase people or opportunities. You simply align your energy with love and life meets you there. Imagine you're rowing a boat. For years, you've been paddling upstream against the current, straining, struggling, telling yourself that effort equals worth. But what if you stop paddling for a moment? What if you turned the boat around and let the river carry you? That's what alignment feels like. Suddenly, things that once felt difficult become effortless. Ideas come easily. Solutions appear. Synchronicities multiply. The same energy that moves galaxies is now moving through you. Force comes from fear. It says, if I don't make this happen, it won't happen. Flow comes from faith. It says, if this is meant for me, it cannot miss me. Force is rooted in the ego's need for control. Flow is rooted in the soul's trust in divine order, and the two cannot coexist. When you force, you're saying to the universe, I don't believe you've got this. When you flow, you're saying, I trust that you've already worked it out. To live in flow is to live in partnership with the divine. It means you listen more than you plan, allow more than you push, and trust more than you fear. You begin to follow the gentle nudges of intuition, those quiet whispers that say, call this person, or take this road, or rest today. These nudges are the universe guiding you. The mind may not understand them, but the heart always does. The more you honor those whispers, the more you find yourself in perfect alignment with the unfolding of your path. When you force life, you close yourself off to miracles. You operate from scarcity, from the belief that you must grab hold and control to survive. But when you flow, you enter the vibration of abundance. You realize there is no shortage of anything. There's no need to compete because what's meant for you is already yours. Flow teaches you to relax and to trust, to open your hands and let life place in them what is rightfully meant for you. One of the most beautiful lessons I've learned is that flow doesn't mean everything is easy or pain-free. It means that even when challenges arise, you trust the perfection within them. You don't resist the storm. You dance in the rain. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, how is this happening for me? That shift from resistance to acceptance transforms your energy, and when your energy changes, your life changes. Sometimes the flow will take you into stillness, sometimes it will take you through uncertainty, sometimes it will take you into solitude. Trust that every phase has its purpose. The stillness restores you, the uncertainty expands you, the solitude reconnects you with your inner light. When you stop forcing, you begin to see that every part of your journey, even the pauses, is sacred. Dr. Dyer often spoke of the Tao, the natural flow of life that is always unfolding perfectly. He said, when you trust in the Tao, you stop trying to push the river. You realize it's already flowing in the direction of your highest good. That's what it means to live in harmony with the source, to let go of control and align with love. You stop chasing outcomes and start becoming the energy of what you desire. So, if you find yourself tired from striving, exhausted from effort, take it as a gentle message from your soul. You are out of flow. Sit quietly. Breathe. Remember that you are not separate from the divine intelligence that governs everything. You are part of it. The same power that spins the planets and makes the grass grow is breathing you right now. When you align with that awareness, you stop trying to control life and start allowing life to express itself through you. To align with the flow is to trust that life is not something happening to you, it is happening through you. You are a vessel of divine energy, a co-creator with the infinite, and the more you trust that power, the less you need to struggle. The paradox is this: the moment you stop forcing, things begin to fall into place. The moment you let go, what you've been grasping for arrives. The moment you surrender, you are carried by grace. There is a gentleness to the flow of divine timing. It never rushes, never struggles, never doubts. And when you tune yourself to that frequency, life becomes miraculous. You begin to live from peace instead of pressure, from trust instead of tension. You become like the ocean, vast, patient, and powerful, yet always at ease. Let this be your practice. Wherever you feel resistance, soften. Wherever you feel the urge to control, breathe. Wherever you feel fear, choose faith. Life is not asking you to push, it's asking you to remember. Remember who you are, a divine expression of infinite love. And love never forces, it flows. When you live in alignment with that truth, you discover that divine timing is not something you wait for, it's something you become. You are no longer chasing the current, you are moving with it, carried effortlessly by the river of grace that has always been guiding you home. Thank you, Divine Source, for reminding us that your timing is perfect. Help us to release impatience and surrender our fears. May we walk in faith, gratitude, and peace, knowing that all things come together in divine order. Amen.